It will inspire you, to encourage you, to challenge you to be your best. Okay. So global leaders, moral devotion, leadership secrets for global missions. Missions, global missions. So the thoughts I'm going to share are things that will touch different areas of our lives. But I can assure you, if we apply our thoughts to some of these things, we will find them very relevant today, tomorrow, next tomorrow, and even in the future. Okay, yeah, I'm happy you're willing to gain stuff. So we are moving already. All right, so these are the learning objectives for this session. Understand the role frameworks play in personal productivity. Understand the role frameworks play in personal productivity. Number two, you get to design your personalized strategic action steps. Strategic action steps. We're also going to reimagine the concept called man, the man, okay? The source and the core of man. Number four, we're going to access simplified steps to manage, to lead, and to win others over, okay? Uh, and number five, you're going to see some leadership keys to lead your global missions. So this is what we're looking at. If you feel like you're interested in all of this area of knowledge, then I want you to fixate your eyes on the slides and listen to every word. We're going to have time for questions at the end and, of course, take some feedbacks. Okay. So the word devotion is an essential word in the topic global leaders, morning devotion. Okay. So we put this program, this session, this masterclass in the morning session, okay, of the day. Now, global leaders and then devotion. Devotion is a word that many of us are familiar with. But right now, what comes to your mind when you hear the word devotion? Anytime you see the word devotion, what comes to your mind? That's a question. So look at it. To devote, this is what it means. Just literally, to give all or most of one's time or resources to a person or activities. All of yourself or most of yourself. All of your time or most of your time. All of your resources, most of your resources. To who? A person or activity. All, most, your time or your resources. To a person or an activity. Very powerful. So right now, you're giving your time and your resources to Dr. Mike so that you can have masterclass. Some persons are only going to give 10% of themselves and their time to this session. Some persons will give 40%. Some people will get tired and just exit at 50%. Okay, but to devote simply means all or most. When they say most, it's about 90%. So this is like a meal that has been prepared for you, but I'm not going to decide how much you want to eat. You're going to decide how much you want to take out of this session. So your devotedness determines what we devote our time, our resources to. Who we devote our time, our resources to affect our outcomes. Very important. If you have never devoted your time to playing basketball, you will just know that there's a game called basketball. You will never be able to master the act of playing basketball. In other words, nobody can pay you to play basketball. So the competencies, the realities that you have right now, they are reflections of how you have devoted your time and your resources to either a person or an activity. Very important. So go into the chat room. Let me read some comments. What is going through your mind already? Just type a word. Type a word. Type a word. Let me read some comments. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Okay. To devote, give all or most of one's time. Many of us have given our time, resources to wrong people. You're giving your time and your resources to wrong activities. And that's why the outcomes are always bitter, very painful. Okay. I love that. Your appetite is raised already. I'm expecting the transformation. Your life outcome is the function of who? Yeah. Food for greatness. Yeah, 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 yeah. I like that. I like that. I like what I'm seeing. Keep it coming, keep it coming. I want you to be awake. I hope you're not sleeping on me. I'm just trying to do an introduction. I'm going to zoom up to 50,000 feet right away. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Okay. So that's what to devote. Devote is from the word devotion. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So what have you devoted your time to in the last 12 months? Can you imagine the quality of the return you get is based on what you have devoted your time, who you have devoted your time. Very important. The next 12 months of your life is going to be controlled by this single slide that you're seeing here. What you're going to devote most of your time, all of your time, and resources to, whether to a person or to an activity. Very, very profound. Very, very profound. So I want to establish that fundamentals before we advance. Now look at it. When you hear the word devotion, these are the things I want you to think about. Because devotion has to do with committing yourself. Other words that have to do with devotion are dedication. This ones you are familiar with that. Okay. Commitment. I'm dedicated to you. I'm essentially yes. I give my life to you just to do your will. I wrote that song when I was in university. You know, this is 2003, 2004, 2005, 2006. I'm dedicated to you. I'm essentially yes. I give myself away just to do your will. To devote, to give yourself away, to totally devote, commit yourself. You are good, you are kind. I've never seen your kind. I'm devoted to your will. I'm forever to you. Devoted, right? You can sing a song of devotion to your wife, to your kids. All right. Devotion simply means I'm committed. A devoted person is a committed person with his time and resources, with his words and his action to either a person or an activity. Very important to get that. So when you see the word devotion, this is what we're talking about. Mission disposition. In other words, there's a mission. There's a reason why you're in this class. There's a mission. Then align conversations. It means that you're aligning your conversation to the mission. So if you're here for masterclass and I'm just here cracking jokes, I'm not aligning my conversation with the mission while we're here. So I'm making a waste of your time and your resources. So when you are going to be devoted to something, there must be mission, must be mission oriented, and then the conversation that will go on in that room at that time must align with the mission. So when you get to a place and you see that the conversation is not aligned to why you're here, you're just going to get out because you do not want to devote your time to endless, aimless conversations. When you are devoted, for instance, the word devotional is something we're used to as as kids. Where parents we do morning devotion. Morning devotion is an exercise, an activity, but there is a personality behind that devotion. That is God. The mission is to come to God and then align our conversation. So when we're doing morning devotion, we're not talking about what we're going to eat, what we're going to drink. Okay, I have to cook rice and jollof rice. No, every conversation is aligned. We sing praises, we give God thanks, we share the word of God. We align the conversation to the mission of that moment. That's an activity. But behind the activity, there's a personality, which is God. All right. Now, because we align our conversation, when we do that consistently, what happens to us is that devotion can foster rejuvenation. Rejuvenation is to revive your spirit, to give you hope, to give you strength. Sometimes you feel down, but because you went to an environment, an activity took place, and your spirit is revived, your mind is energized. So devotion to something or to a person is supposed to also foster rejuvenation. When you are around some people and you devote 10 minutes of your time, you should leave their presence improved, energized, happy, encouraged, not dejected, frustrated, and losing hope. So devotion is supposed to foster personal transformation. That's why continuously when you go to God, we expect that that devotion to that person and activities over a period of time should lead to transformation. When you go to class as a medical doctor, you didn't become a medical doctor the first day. But the mission is to become a medical doctor. You go to classes where you have conversation in alignment with that mission, And at some point, you're getting encouraged and strengthened.